Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Oh, my mic's in the wrong place. My mic's in the wrong place. Give me a second here.
Uh-oh.
I, s-
Hello.
I sometimes forget that my mic is sometimes in the wrong place. Hopefully, this is working well. Let us know if it isn't in any way, shape, or form. Meg, say something?
Oh my gosh, Alex, do
Perfect.
you know what I don't have right now?
What do you not have right now?
Chat open.
You should have chat open.
We
Good
were
morning.
chit-chatting so much, I forgot we went live.
Yeah, we went live. We went live. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, James. Welcome aboard. Srebme. Hello. Unemployed lawyer. Isaac Cundiff. Tones my
Hi,
bones.
guys.
You see, Tones My Bones, I read Too Many Bones first, and I was happier, and then I read Tones My Bones, and it was less happy. Still good. Still a good name.
Aw.
Yep. We have Successful. Hello. John, Carlos, Eric, Pesky Penguin, Ryan, James, George, Aaron. Lots of Aarons in the chat. That is basically what's going on in the morning. How are you all?
Yes, the hamster is on an airplane right now.
The hamster's on my way here, which means stay tuned over the next few days for the random chaos streams that may or may not happen, like multiple times, because that's what happens over here. Ryan, the sound's good, and Devin's not here. Coincidence? I think not. So, this week we had a few options. There was possibly going to be a dedicated Meg Q&A at one point. That was possibly a conversation at the table, but didn't happen right now. There's possibly going to be a dedicated Alex Q&A, and that's not happening. And then there's possibly going to be a focused game show, kind of, not really game show, focused regular weekly live around, whatever subjects. But honestly, I kind of like the weekly live format we have going, to the point that I think that if we miss a person, it doesn't have the same vibe. But Meg, you want to hear me out here? I forgot, foolishly, we absolutely could have and should have invited one of our many content creator friends to join us for it.
Oh, that makes me feel bad.
You see, I thought about this morning. I was like, I probably should have just invited, Chris George or Daniel Standry and just said, hey, we're doing our thing. Let's do the game show with special guests, which we'll do in the future. So, that will happen. And if it doesn't happen ever, that means nobody likes us and they don't want to join. So it is what it is. But that's okay. That's okay. We have friends. Saipon, Alex, Meg, what 5 games from 5 years ago do you play today? What 5 games from today do you suspect will still be popular 5 years hence? If you have more, let's go for top 5 and 5. Meg, you got the question? You get to go on it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's 2023.
Oh, so do we want to specifically be like
That goes
5
down to
years?
2018. Well, I was just trying to mentally picture what games I was playing when, like to know that they were that old.
No,
And wow, time is flying.
I'm gonna be specific. We'll go to 20. It's 2022, so 5 years ago, we 2017, because I know it's technically whatever, but it's only just hit that year. So I'm looking at games in 2017, no expansions, rating at least 7 with
Well,
100 ratings. Okay, let's do this.
I got it in 2017,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't start playing it till January 2018, but that's
Okay.
when I started Gloomhaven.
Well, I mean, you're still playing Gloomhaven, right? You are, I
I
think.
know, isn't that crazy?
Okay, so from that year, from 2017, games that I still play and enjoy. Ooh, this is actually looking very not good so far. Wow, so far none of these. Wow. Let me go ahead and sort by
Yeah, but
geek
some could
rating.
also be older, like Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride, I think, is like 2009. So it's
I
definitely from 5 years ago plus.
I
But
screwed
I
up
was
my
playing it
search.
5 years ago.
My search is the wrong one.
I was just
Um,
gonna say encyclopedia.
I'll get to that in a
Close my
second.
bones. I think you mean for the. I thought you were joking, saying.
Okay. So I searched for things that had a rating of lower than 7 by mistake, and that's why it didn't look good. Spirit Island, that's definitely going to fall in the category for me. Spirit Island's an easy one. We have Azul.
Oh my gosh, I remember demoing Spirit Island at PAX East
Mhm.
before it even came out and being like, what is this?
Yeah, so Azul definitely one. Quest for El Dorado,
Yep.
heavily into that one, still enjoying it, holding up completely. We have Ethnos I actually kind of got rid of, but unsure. I'm gonna go with Baron Park. Baron Park continues to hold up for me. Rouge of the Ganges I only started playing 2 or 3 years later, so it didn't get right away, so I can't count that one. But then past that, I would say Codenames Duet came out, but we don't have to count that because it's an offshoot of Codenames. So let's see what else we can count.
I'm not searching. I'm just going by memory.
Oh, I'm searching. I'm searching.
I agree with
Gentis.
some ones you're saying. Well, just because they came out in 2017 doesn't mean that's when I was playing it.
Yeah, that's why I'm skipping a bunch that I started later. If I came out in
Yeah.
2017, I only played it 2 or 3 years later. Tack is fantastic. I love Tack. It holds up
Blood
completely.
Rage.
Blood Rage I think was 2016, isn't it? But I didn't play it the first year, so it might well be one for me.
Exactly.
Same with Terraforming Mars, honestly. Terraforming Mars would fall in the category as well. So those are for that. Meg, which games have you played in this past 12 months that you think you're still going to be very much in love with and still playing 5 years from now? And you can't say Roleplay Adventures.
That's so mean.
I know.
Um, The first one I think of is Oathsworn.
Ooh.
I don't know if I'll necessarily be playing in 5 years, just because it is a shorter campaign that I'm sure I'll replay it. But I don't know if I'll be playing it in 5 years. But it's one that I think will,
Still be popular for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah.
me, I'm gonna go with a few offhand, and I'm gonna combine both, meaning both popular and I love them. And for me, Encyclopedia is definitely there. I think it's gonna be hold up completely fine, and I will very much be in love with it. DEI, Divide and Impair, is a new one that I fall in love with very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's gonna be popular in 5 years. We'll see. I don't think it has as much of an audience as I would like it to have, but it's so ridiculously good. It's one of those games I just want to see it grow.
You've been hyping that one.
Mind Management, that's definitely going to hold up. Mind Management is an incredible game that will be in my collection, holding up just fine, and I believe will be in many, many people's collections and doing just fine.
Twilight
Past that,
Inscription.
I'm curious about that one. I am curious about Twilight Inscription. I'm
I
not
think
confident. It's great. I like it a lot. I'm not as confident in that. Marvel Zombies doesn't count because it's just more Marvel. It's more Zombicide. Past that, what other things have come out that I've fallen in love with this year? There's more. What games have I given a 5 out of 5 to? Mythic Mischief, I think, will be fantastic. Mythic Mischief, by the way, is Ivy Games' highest rated game the last I checked. Not the most popular, but the highest rated. If you look at just the ratings alone and you ignore which one is sold more, the highest ratings are in Mythic Mischief. So go ahead and check that out. But past that, yeah, those are there. Okay.
I really want to. I tried starting doing BG stats, and like I really gotta stay at it because that's what I need to like remind me everything I've even played in the past month.
Yeah, I mean, BG Stats is a habit, but I often put notes. Like, the problem with BG Stats is I like to record, like, what actually happened in the game, like, who won or things like that. And so I can't do it as I'm starting. So what I usually do is I take notes in my email I have a little draft email called Games I Played, and as soon as I start a game, I'm like, boom, okay, I just started a game of Twilight Inscription. And then later, like when I'm watching a movie or something like that, I'll go through the past week of all the games I just started and be like, okay, wait, I played Twilight Inscription, that was with Meg and Devin, Devin won, and I'll start transcribing. I find if I try to put in BG Stats as like 3 extra clicks versus just typing it as a draft in my email. Yeah. Or when I travel, and dear Lord, we travel enough that we can definitely consolidate all the stuff then. Okay, well that was a lot of time on one question, which means it's time to go to the next question. JB, need help on my next purchase? Resurgence or Endless Winter? For me, Endless Winter. I don't believe Meg's played Resurgence.
Played Resurgence, but I did really enjoy Endless Winter.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be disappointed purchasing it.
I do like Resurgence a lot, by the way, I do, but I don't actually know if Resurgence stays in my collection long term. I really like it. My biggest problem with it is Resurgence to me feels more similar game to game. So Endless Winter, like, continued to go up after more and more plays, although I'm not as confident on the expansions. We'll talk about that some other time. But the base game itself went up and up with more plays and continues to show variability. For me, Resurgence to me is... it doesn't feel different game to game. It doesn't feel meaningfully different game to game, and so it started on a high, but then it just stayed flat. It didn't grow with multiple plays for me. And so that, like, yeah, I thought Resurgence might go up after my first plays, but it kind of just stayed flat. It didn't go down, but it's the same game. Aaron Belmont.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Endless Winter has me, like, wanting to try different strategies. That I've tried different things in it, and, like, even, I mean, I think I've lost every time. But I want to play again and be like, okay, now I want to try to do this. I want to try to do that.
Yeah.
I never do the area control aspect, and I think it's always because I sit far away from it, and I just got to figure that part out.
That's my biggest pet peeve in the conversation of Endless Winter versus Dune versus Arnak is I think Endless Winter has the worst table layout and control, and it's bad enough that it's a realistic ding against it. We're going to be doing a full comparison video on all 3 games at some point. You, me, and Devin. We played all with all the expansions. We'll do a full comparison.
Is Nuka showing on the stream?
Nope. I can see Nuka on Discord.
She's so cute.
But not on
She's
stream.
Okay.
Aaron. Aaron, speaking of which, what's your favorite game that requires very little setup? I just played War of the Ring, the card game. Remind me how great it is not to have an hour worth of setup. That's a good question. My favorite game... Sonora. Interesting. Good choice.
Sonora is very quick to pick up, and it's very quick to teach.
I will say Foundations of Rome is astoundingly quick for what you think it is. Like, that's a giant box. It's a giant box, and it sets up in like 4 minutes. I've timed myself. But other games I set up fairly quickly. Mind Management has a lot of tedious steps to go through, but it is otherwise good. Mythic Mischief doesn't have that much setup. I guess you could argue there's a draft setup. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Paris has like no setup. I love Paris. Paris is an amazing game.
Never
There's no
played
setup.
Paris.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, I'm bringing Paris. I'm bringing Paris next time I come. It's Paris is
Too
just
many games.
it's patchwork but meaner and tighter. I actually just played with Devin the last time he was here. We played like 2 or 3 games in a row, and like it was really, really fun. Eric says, Meg, are you playing Final Girl tonight?
I am not, but I will be playing it on Friday over on Twitch at twitch.tv/camp_co-op.
Yeah, every Friday is FGF, Final Girl Friday, or Favorite Game Friday, or some other version of something. Surround me. Love the idea of special guests. That's a reminder of how far behind we are in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're very far behind.
Yeah, I've been very.
Oh, I have it on Top Chat.
Oh, Jenna showed up. Hello, Jenna. How's it going?
Jenna.
I have it on Top Chat again. I need to change that setting. I'm sorry, all. I'm sorry.
And it reset it, and now I
Yes.
don't know where we are.
I found it. I scrolled up. Tommy Sleeve. First time seeing the live show, but seeing your video since first Marvin Night Kickstarter. Wow, the first Marvin Night Kickstarter. That's old school.
Aww.
I filmed that video in Argentina from a hotel room I was staying in. What do you, Alex and Meg, think will be the next Kickstarter from Come On, and what's up with The Last of Us from Come On? So, I don't know, as far as the next Kickstarter from Come On, I don't know if they've teased anything yet, so I don't know. Like, usually they do a tease towards the end of the campaigns. I don't know what's coming up. As far as The Last of Us, I've said this multiple times before, it's my belief, this is not insider knowledge, if it was insider knowledge I just wouldn't say anything, it's my belief that that's just not happening. They just haven't talked about it in too long, and since then there's been another Last of Us game, and now they have the Last of Us TV show. Usually they try to time all these things to make them popular. It's my belief that that is no longer happening, and they're just not commenting, and that's my belief, but I could be wrong. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna guess what I think the next one is because I don't know what it...
You might know stuff that you're not supposed to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so just
I
keep that.
don't want to answer that question.
No, if insider knowledge, I don't do. But if I don't know anything, I'm happy to guess as much as possible, because who cares? Okay, Robbie, hi everyone. Swebme, Alex, do you think honoring Saga is key to you preventing burnout? Swebme, I don't know if it's key, so for those who don't know, I keep the Shabbat, which means basically Friday night sundown to Saturday sunset for 25 hours every single week. I am offline. There's no phone, there's no work, there's no filming videos. It's just completely, like, I just can't work if I want to. And so, do I think it's key to preventing burnout? I think it is very, very helpful. I don't know if it's necessarily key. Like, if I didn't have that, would I burn out? Possibly. But I do have a forced break every single week, and I've always said it is fantastic, especially if you're a bit of a workaholic like myself. So I have a hard time. Like for instance, Devin's going to be here tomorrow, and I have to, like, mentally turn off that or when you're here too, when Meg or Devin are here, or anyone's here, I have to mentally turn off. I cannot be at the computer every 5 minutes doing the next thing. I cannot be filming the next video all the time. It's just, saw it as an opportunity to forcefully not engage in any work, or even turn a game into filmed content. Like, hey, we're anyways playing Endless Winter, why don't we film it so it's content? I can't. And so I do love that, and I think it certainly helps. But yeah. Brownbeard, best medium games for 8+ people, not party games. Meg, you want to take this one?
This is 8 individuals, not individuals of the age of 8.
I believe it is 8+ individuals, because 8+ is a very specific aspect.
Gosh, for 8+, there's a Red Dragon Inn that you can play with that many people, which is very fun, especially with gambling, but you need enough characters to play it. There's ones like Welcome To or Cartographers.
We just played Welcome To on stream last night with 10 of our people on stream.
Yep.
That was fun.
So those 2 are very great. That might be where my brain ends right now. I'm trying to think of games with Codenames. Codenames is a great team
Codenames, monikers. Those are party games, I guess, arguably. Captain Sonar definitely fits into the category. I haven't played it, but I've heard amazing things about it, and it specifically plays at 8. Not 8+, 8. Veiled Fate caps out at 7, so that's a tough one. Railroad Inc., if you have 2 sets. Many roll
The Crew?
I don't think it goes up to 8. I don't think it goes up to 8.
It might be 6.
8 is a hard number if you want to eliminate party games. It's doable, but you're often looking at party games or like roll and write, flip and writes that can be played by any number of simultaneous people. Do you say Cartographers yet?
Yes.
Yes, so yeah. Yep. Mobile uploads. Alex, why do you recommend your 2 back and not to back feel like people don't get half the Marvel United Universe expansions, yet you say that you're going all in? Mobile uploads, that's a great question. Do as I say, not as I do. The answer is because, it's a complicated answer, but there's 2 factors. The first is that I think that I probably shouldn't be going all in. but I'm okay with the fact that sometimes I'll make bad decisions. Sometimes I'll eat the cookie when I'm trying to diet, and that's what I think this is. I think this is me eating the cookie when I'm trying to diet. I think Marvel United is excellent. I don't think that there's enough new stuff here to justify going all in, except for the FOMO of kind of wanting it all. At the very least, I can point to the expansions that actually add gameplay mechanisms that I think are worthwhile. So like I covered this in my video, like I think this is worthwhile, that's worthwhile. I want to go all in. In fact, we were talking about this last night on our stream over on Camp Co-op. We're talking about what if they do DC United and Star Wars United and Harry Potter United. I'd probably get all of them, and I shouldn't. So it's this weird aspect of I'm not trying to encourage FOMO, and ideally if I was being a better person, I wouldn't get them to set a good example. I'm not that good a person. I want to enjoy my hobby the way I want to enjoy my hobby. I'll still give the best advice that I think people should follow, including myself. You shouldn't eat the cookie either. But sometimes we both have a hard time and we both eat the cookie, and so I'll give my best advice, and unfortunately I will often engage in bad advice. The second aspect, and this is the second one, okay, that's answer one. Answer two is it is easier for me to justify going all in for any number of reasons. If you look around my room, my game, this is my hobby. I don't have 17 hobbies. I don't hike. I don't have cars or bikes or anything. I have board games. This is where my extra money goes. I don't even do video games anymore. It's all board games. And so I'm comfortable with a little bit of excess spending on my hobby, but not everyone is. Many people who are watching my videos don't have 300 games. They have 40 games. And so I have to remember at times that I'm not talking to the hardcore gamer. I know full well that the people who are going to go all in on Marvel United are going to go all in regardless of what I say or do. There are many people who watch my videos and they're like, yep, Alex is right, also all in. There are many people who will do that. Those aren't the people I need to speak to. Those are the people who know full well what they're doing and the consequences of what they're doing. I'm speaking to the person who just got into the hobby a year ago and they haven't really figured out that it's going to keep piling up. And so those are the two answers, if that makes sense. Okay.
I think that's fair. I think that's very, like, smart to caution people that it's like, and it's also encouraging for the people that do want the whole collection. Then they're like, okay, well, at least I'm not a weirdo for wanting it all.
Yes.
Alex wants it too.
Oh, I want it too, but I think it's a mistake. I think that there's a certain, I think there are specific aspects to this Kickstarter that you could justify and say it's worth it. I think a lot of it is going to be just FOMO, though. Mm-hmm. Eric, Meg, when is Alex going to show up in your solo play streams?
Oh, Eric, I stream on Friday nights solo because that's when Alex is offline for Shabbat. So that's why I happen to be solo. Otherwise, we would probably be playing a game together.
I have an answer.
And that's why he doesn't show up.
I have an answer. When I was in Poland, because of the time difference,
there you go.
I visited Poland for a week, and because of the time difference, Meg handled the solo streams for the entire week. But so I was able to like show up and chat and whatnot. In fact, it was really obnoxious. So what happened is Meg would be streaming when it was like 2 o'clock in the morning for me because of the 6-hour time difference. But because I couldn't get the sleep schedule down, I think almost every single night I was waking up in the middle of the night. And then on the nights you were streaming, I'd pop into chat and be like, hey everyone, hi people, bye. Now I'm going back to sleep again.
I'm awake again.
Yes. So that's when I show up.
And I do think technically, like peak summer, you'll be online when I start.
Oh, that's an interesting point. You're right. Yeah. Saturday starts. Shabbat starts in the very, very late summer. Shabbat starts very late. There's times when I might be just closing in, and those times usually pop in. I say hi to the community. We have a great community over on Camp Co-op. Really, really, really friendly, really close knit, and it's a lot of supportive people. In fact, like half of them are in the chat right now. But yeah. Anyways, let's see. Jose, what's your opinion on Stone Saga? So Meg, you've actually played Stone Saga as well, so I'll give mine first. I played Stone Saga, and my opinion is that it is very promising if you like the sense of discovery. There's a lot of discovery in the game. There's lots of adventuring, exploring, crafting, and there's lots of things that you're kind of finding stuff. My biggest concern, and it's not a concern that has happened yet, I'm just concerned by the nature of the game, is can they keep up that sense of discovery across the entire game, or is it like, here's your first 3 missions, content creator, look how cool it is, and then when you actually get it, the first 3 missions are great, and the rest is tedious and repetitive. I think that the sense of discovery is phenomenally well done, and I'm very excited to play the final game. I am uncertain how it'll hold up across, multiple plays.
Maybe. There were definitely a lot of things I enjoyed about it. I didn't get to play too much with it, so I only got to see certain things. But like the fishing I really enjoyed, the hunting I really enjoyed.
The fishing you killed on, remember that?
I loved it. And I also really enjoyed that you have a pack and all of the different items that you get are different sizes, the tiles. And it's similar to Merchants of the Dark Road where you have to fit all of your tiles inside of your pack. So I thought that was cool for how much you can hold. So there were definitely things that I liked about it, but I think I don't know if I really jived with like the action system of actually exploring. Um,
Makes sense.
I gotta
Well,
see more of
so
it.
fun fact, actually, they actually mentioned already, one of the communications I had with the developer is they mentioned that in the playtesting with the various, not playtesting, a lot of the feedback they got from content creators, I guess, I should say a lot. They got enough feedback, I don't know how much it was, that the reasons to explore the actual land weren't large enough. So they actually
Yeah.
have it down in their stuff that they're working on of giving you more reasons to actually explore the world. Because right now there's a lot of stuff you can do, but a lot of the stuff you can do without moving that much. And so
Right.
they are taking that into account already. But yeah,
Sorry, I meant to move my mic close to me like when we started.
you're
If I
doing
sound much better and clearer to you guys, I finally just grabbed my mic.
you do sound better. You didn't sound bad
I
before.
meant to grab it. Yeah, I know. It's just probably better.
Meg, this one's for you. Weston Hess. Any thoughts on the new D&D Onslaught? I love skirmish games and got it for half the price, just waiting on shipping.
I don't have any thoughts. I have
No?
not.
It's D&D.
No.
I have no thoughts at all.
Yeah, sure, sure. It's D&D. D&D is awesome.
Okay.
I don't know anything about how it plays.
Okay, well, then I don't know anything either. No thoughts from either of us. I just assumed Meg would have
Ask
thoughts.
me again, Weston. Ask me again later.
Zod10, question for Meg. This one actually says question for Meg. What is your favorite Ascension set combination? Mine is SOS plus IH. I don't even know what that is.
I'm not going to be able to name them, Zod. I have them on my shelf by what they're colored like. I like the one with the dark energy shards, and I like the one with multi-unite, which I think is Rise of Vigil.
Rise of Vigil is an Ascension name, I know that.
It is an Ascension name.
I would
SOS.
recognize the names. I just don't know if I can do the initials for the names.
Yeah. Is SOS the Swords and Sails one?
There's a
Oh my
Swords and
god,
Sails
we are
for Ascension.
so far away. And yeah, but I think that's maybe not exactly what it's called. Skulls and Sails. I can't name them all, you guys. There's no way. There's one that's Immortal. That says IH. There's one that's Immortal. Maybe it's Immortal Heroes.
Maybe. Carlos Alberto, are you planning to play and upload a video for Tenaris Adventures? I would love to watch it. Carlos, I am absolutely 100% planning on playing a ton of Tenaris Adventures. The upload conversation is going to be a different conversation. You see, Meg and I currently play through a lot of campaign games over on Camp Co-op, and currently we plan to dive into Tenaris to see if that's one that resonates with Meg or not. If it does, we'll be playing it at some point and figuring out how or when it fits into our Camp Co-op schedule, and if she doesn't like it, then I'll be playing it solo. Either way, there will definitely be playing, and there will very likely be uploaded content. I would say the timeline you could expect a video in, would say in the next month, expect a video somewhere, either on the main channel or over on Camp Co-op, but somewhere.
If we play it, Alex, you would want to play it pre-recorded style or live style?
We can discuss that. I guess it might also depend on what we're doing with Roleplay Adventures. I think we've had discussions about what works better for pre-recorded and live. I think this one works better a bit for pre-recorded, but we can discuss that. We can discuss it.
I don't disagree.
Alexander, what happened between you and Justin Cracklope? Before you were almost always cooperating, I definitely enjoy more or your content, Meg Endeavor, as well than Cracklope. I was fine with that question until the last part. Okay. So for context there, I appreciate being liked, but I don't need to get into a contest with which content creator do we like more, and because how am I supposed to respond or address that? So I guess I say thank you and appreciate it and that. As far as the Crackle Up question, I get this every once in a while because we do stuff, but first of all, like, he and I still interact, we still do stuff, we still talk. I was just in his live stream yesterday watching and contributing, and we talk like every single week. What the general answer I've given and will continue to give is he and I a while ago started noticing drifts in the types and approach to content that we both have, and started doing content together less and less. We still interact plenty behind the scenes, and I see him like every single week and talk to him every single week, but our content is less cooperating. I would say don't expect to never see more collaborations. There likely will be, but just they happen to have not happened in a while now. Aaron Taylor, Mythic Mischief. Oh, I guess we're answering questions about the games we like.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's skip those. John, let's skip through these. Jared Atkin, are you going to play Hogwarts Legacy? Are you going to play Hogwarts Legacy? Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
I can't say the word. Short answer, Jared, is I would like to, but I don't know if or when it will actually happen. Now, by the way, the safest answer as any person online, the safest answer is just to be like, nope, not happening. No, I wouldn't ever. Done. I would like to play it. I don't know if I will or not because I don't have time for video games, but it's getting a lot of generally good reviews and buzz. I like the universe. It looks like a very cool game. So the answer is maybe. I don't know when.
My answer is I'm currently playing Fire Emblem Engage, and I cannot wait for the new Zelda.
Yeah. Introvert Fuel. I started using BG stats at the start of the year after seeing Alex talk about it. I find that it motivates us to play more games, and it's fun to see the quick recap of what we were playing. Yeah.
I gotta get back on it. I started for the thing that like kills me is I started and then I dropped the ball and now like putting some in and it's like where do they mesh and like I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of all or nothing. It's very hard to do it piecemeal. I mean, I say all or nothing with the caveat that I generally say I probably forget to log about 10 to 15% of my plays. Like I notice times where I go in and I'm like, I'm gonna enter my 5th play of this game, and it's like, you have no plays of this game, and I'm like, oh. Okay, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I like using BG stats a lot. I actually have a video I did once called How to Play More Games, and one of the 5 answers was log your plays. Like, log your plays and set challenges. Say, I'm going to play 600 plays this year, and you will do it. You will find that, like, you have to do something reasonable. If your normal number is 400 and you say 1,000, it's not going to happen. But if your normal number is 400 and you say 600, you might find that you push yourself to play a little bit more. And that's a good thing. Like, some people might say, well, why should you ever push yourself to play a game? The answer is because sometimes it's easier to just pull out your phone and scroll Facebook and, pull in an app. There's lots of things we do in life because they're easier, but not because it's the thing we want to do. If you ever push yourself to play a game and you regret it, don't push yourself to play games. But most people who push themselves to play a game don't regret it. They're like, I'm glad I set it up. I'm glad I did this. I had fun doing this. Not everything good in life is easy to do.
Agree.
Charles Javell, next question. Aren't you tired playing board games at the end of the day after having worked all day on board game content? You want to take this or should I take it?
We're so pathetic. We're just so obsessed. We're just too obsessed. Like, absolutely not. If anything, working on board games all day makes me want to look at the games that I want to be looking at night. That it's like, can't wait to get through this because then I'm going to look at that. And it's just, in deep. I'm in deep, you guys.
I don't have any other interests. It's just board games. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Srebme, how do you calculate return on investment when deciding whether to do a video or take on a commitment from a publisher? Ooh, that's such an interesting question. Okay, chat, you're going to have to wait. I'll be back in half an hour. So, how do you calculate return on investment when deciding? So,
I didn't understand what you meant at first.
I'm going to dive into this question. So, I'm going to try to keep this a little bit lighter. It's a great question. And I think everyone's going to be different, obviously. My general take is the first starting point is if I am interested in the game selfishly, if I'm just interested in the game, well, then it's just more stuff in the hobby I like. I don't think too much about the return on investment. The other question is, as things drift away from interest, as it moves away, like my highest interest is I would have bought that no matter what period done. And then you're just offering me the same thing I would have bought, but now it's free. And it is a commitment, but that's the trade-off of doing a channel. There's a commitment. So sometimes I end up playing 2 or 3 times a game that I was only okay on because that's the price of putting out content. And the trade-off is my life gets to be what my life gets to be, which is amazing. As it drifts further away from the how much I love it, then there is a trade-off of what's the view percentage or potential subscriber growth that I get from that. So there are times that really popular IP might be more interesting for me to take it on, even if my interest was a little bit lower, because you might get a lot of people who are going to subscribe or see it, and so there's a degree of, okay, potential growth to the channel. Versus if it drifts away from I would have bought it, and there's 40 people who are going to back the game, well then why should it's not going to help me. It's not something I would have bought, so why put my time into it? So it's a much longer answer. I'm trying to give the very cliff notes so it doesn't take up the whole stream. But for me, it comes down to if I would have bought it anyway, simple, I just take it. And if I wouldn't have bought it, that's when the size and potential return on views and subscribers and growth becomes part of the conversation relative to how much my disinterest is. And if I have no interest at all, I just don't take it because I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with all of that.
Board Game Garden, hello friends. Hello Jenna, how are you? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, just because Jenna, we need to at some point. I accepted your friend request on BGA, finally. Okay, now I accepted like 17. Yesterday I went to my friend request because someone's like, you didn't accept my friend request, and I went in there and I had like 17 I hadn't accepted.
Popular.
Everybody's got popular. Cash Johnson, just curious, do you ever have to tailor your reviews in order to not make a developer upset? So I would say
I was such a laugh for that.
I always love the questions. I love questions. I tailor my language based on the size of my audience more so than I do so based on making a developer upset. What I mean by that is when I first got into content, I would casually say things like, "Ugh, I did not enjoy this. I hated playing it." I would casually say that. And that's usually not true. It's a casual statement I'd make. And then as the audience grew, I became more mindful of saying casual things that aren't true. I don't say I hate that game when what I really mean is it was okay and I'd really just rather spend time in other games. I'd rather say that because that's true. There's very few games I actually hate. Most of the time it's just you weren't great. So I tailor my language in general because I think the impact of saying I hate that game when you just mean it was okay, I think the impact is worse and worse for a designer or publisher the larger you are. And so I'm mindful of that. When I don't do is I don't tailor that language backwards when I love a game. When I love a game, I'm excited. I'm just excited and I don't care. You can see that I'm excited and good. See that I'm excited. It may or may not be for you, that's true, but I'm excited about the game and I don't want to constrain that excitement. So I don't really tailor my reviews to not make a developer upset, but I do tailor my language to be mindful of trying to be neutral negative as opposed to passionately over the top negative.
Yeah, and usually if it is very negative on my side, which I've had very few games be like actually negative experiences, very, very few, I will just be honest back with the publisher and say like, hey, my coverage is not going to help your game. I shouldn't be covering this.
Yeah. Yeah, I have done that. I have offered no coverage. But I'm fine saying to somebody, I don't think I should cover your game. I'm not fine covering the game and then deceiving my audience. That's, totally different conversation.
Yeah.
Jason Bagari, hey guys, what do you guys do with campaign games when you're done playing through them generally? I'm just about to finish ISIS Vanguard and I'm kind of conflicted if I should keep it or not.
Oh, for me, I finished Gloomhaven, but that's great to keep because now I'm playing through Crimson Scales and Forgotten Circles. So for me, Gloomhaven, there hasn't been a reason to get rid of it yet. I played through Clank Legacy, but that one is now a legacy game, like a playable Clank game. So you play through if you don't know this one, you play through the whole legacy of it, you're adding stickers, whatever, and then you make like a custom board that then you can always play with. So that one's still playable. And then the Adventures of Robin Hood, I've lent out. So I think any that are resettable, I've lent out. I guess Jaws of the Lion is sitting on my bookshelf. Dunsky. But sometimes I use pieces from it. Like I'll take out the modifier cards before I started sleeving them. They got really gross. So I took the modifier cards from that set and now I sleeve that. So like, I don't know, I use stuff from it, I guess. I took the classes out.
I get rid of anything that I don't think I'm playing again, but I'll keep it if I think I'm playing again. So, for example, Adventures of Robin Hood or Roleplay Adventures, those have expansions coming, so I want to hold on to them. Gloomhaven, like you mentioned, Crimson Scales, great. But anything else, I get rid of them, trade them to the next person. Ideally, reset them if they're worth it. Like ISIS Vanguard is kind of worth resetting it and selling it. It's not a cheap game.
Yeah.
Also, Tim, welcome aboard. Someone pointed out that Devin's not here, and now we have all the other content creators jumping in. That's right, Devin, you make everything worse. Jason, hey guys, what do you know? That was the question I just did. Aaron Taylor, I'm thinking about getting Deep Rock Galactic. Are there any other dungeon crawlers that have light-hearted art theme with interesting mechanics? Would like to find dungeon crawlers my wife would like. So I think Zombicide, Massive Darkness, and Cthulhu Death May Die all semi-fall into that category. I don't know exactly what it is about Deep Rock Galactic that appeal to you, and which those ones aren't on your list. So that's the.
I don't know Deep Rock Galactic.
It's a video game that they turned into a board game. The board game doesn't actually exist yet. It's right now you can just late pledge it, I believe. But it looked very whimsical and fun. Oh my gosh, Mark Street from the Dice Tower had a phenomenally well done video on it, and I know he really enjoyed it as well.
This one's also not out yet, but the new Tidal Blades is very lighthearted.
That's a good choice. That's a great choice.
Yeah. What is that one? Is it Rise of the Unfolders?
Rise of the Unfolders.
Yeah. That one's great, but I have no idea how you can get your hands on it. Maybe you can late pledge? I don't know.
Saipon, Alex, you're probably the only omni-gamer from amongst the reviewers I follow. Most have a handful of niches or whatever. I think Tom is also an omni-gamer, isn't it? A lot of the Dice Tower crew are very omni-gamer in their approach. I could be wrong, but I think that you may not follow Dice Tower. That's a different conversation. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Omni-gamer would be just that, like, I don't specifically like dungeon crawlers or specifically like Euros. I play all genres. And I do play all genres except for war games. When you have chits and maps and whatever. So I do play and enjoy most genres. And I'd say that if you look at my top 100, there's a very large mix of lighter games, heavier games, war games, area control games, Euros. It's a large mix. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so we have Board Game Garden. I need to do that desperately. I'm such a freaking workaholic. At this point, I get anxiety trying to just relax.
I feel that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Shabbos really helps. The fact that I cannot in any way respond to an email or do the next work thing, it's just and it's ingrained. I just can't. Done. Wow, I'm so far behind. We still have answers to
I
Captain
know.
Sonar. How am I
We're
this far
really,
behind, Meg?
really
Whoa.
far behind.
Okay. Okay. Whoa. I'm gonna start skipping questions, everyone. I apologize for that. It just is what it is. That we have Harv's. That's a lot of cookies. Yes, that is a lot of cookies. That's my Marvel United analogy. Isaac, Alex, you've mentioned being asked to hike and sell videos as an example of another hobby. Is there a person that keeps inviting you to hike? So that's a great question.
Guys, he just know hiking is a hobby because of parks. That's the thing. He doesn't like.
That's true.
He doesn't know other hobbies, but he's like, okay, what board games have hobbies in them? Parks. There must be hiking.
That's sad and true. No, so hiking and nature are things that I don't have an interest in. I would say if you're thinking of a person, the person in question might be my father. Growing up, he liked going hiking a lot, and he'd frequently invite us to go hiking, and once in a while we would do so, but most of the time I was like, no, walking around in the woods isn't something that appeals to me. And I always bring that up as an example of the thing that, you might be invited to be... You might be invited to participate in someone else's hobby, and to be mindful of that when you're inviting them to participate in yours. So I do give it as an example. It's probably my father. So it's daddy issues. We have daddy issues on stream.
Childhood trauma.
Nocturnal 8, I think the only thing that stopped me is all my other games. I don't want to just play Marvel United for the next year. I would have to ignore the rest of my games to play the massive Marvel United content. Yes.
Okay.
Again, I think there's a certain amount which is justifiable, and I think 3 full all-in campaigns is not, and I'm still doing it. Spetsky, do you feel less inclined to criticize negative aspects of games now that you're financially linked to Kickstarter? I've always enjoyed what I don't like... Wait, what? Do you feel less inclined to criticize negative aspects of games now that you're financially linked to Kickstarter? I've always enjoyed your what I don't like, think others won't like sections. So I'm confused by the question primarily because the thing you're saying you always enjoyed is still in every single video, with both sections still very, very frequent. So I'm not... It sounds like you're saying you like something that's still happening, which is good, because it's still happening. And do I feel less inclined to criticize negative aspects of games? Not in the slightest. If anything, the larger the channel, any channel gets, the more freedom they have to criticize, because there's always a risk of burning bridges. But I'm thankfully in the position where I have to say no to games on a regular basis because I'm already overloaded. So if I burn a bridge, that's okay. I already have too many games to cover. So there's usually less incentive.
Too many bridges.
Yeah. There's usually less incentive to moderate your own feedback as you get larger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. Riddle Sphinx, specifically Andromeda's Edge. Meg, specifically, Andromeda's Edge, back or not?
I think it depends on what games you're interested in. Personally, I wouldn't back it. It's not one that I would be interested in. This is me being like hardcore, which I'm never like that. I think it's a delightful game if it's the type of thing that you would enjoy. But I think that for me, it just didn't do enough things different from games I already have.
Cool. Yeah. And for me, it's built up Dwellings of Eldervale. I like it more than Dwellings of Eldervale, but not enough to back it. It's fighting against area control, and area control is such a hard genre to win in. I have so many amazing games.
And for me, like, the space theme doesn't grab me. Like, space is fun sometimes, but I'll always prefer, like, high fantasy over space. So for me, like, Dwellings is great.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to skip. Pizza's the way. I want to start playing board games. I'm 36. Is it too late for me? No?
No.
I'm curious with the... No, I'm going to go straight with no. You could be 72 and the answer would be no. You could be 98 and the answer would probably be, like, I don't know, consider options, but, like, whatever.
It depends what your vision is like. But even that, I'm sure you could figure it out and find a way.
Yeah, never too late. Board game hype.
Yeah.
Hey, Meg, sent you back an email for Stone Saga. Hope to hear back from you soon.
Lovely.
Did you reach out to
I
him?
asked. Yes. Alex let me know he had to forward his copy along, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll send an email.
So what did you say? What did you say?
Just that if it could swing by before the campaign is done, I'd look at it again.
Gotcha, cool. Yeah, yeah, Devin. What's it called? Meg saw the game, and with me, like, I showed her the game, and I was going to bring it down to her, and then I had to send it on, so I was like, okay, I'll send it on.
Yeah.
Cool. Serve me. Pizza's the way. 36 is perfect time to start. Hopefully you have disposable income by now.
That is true. That is really fair.
Andrija Mejalhar, how many games would you have in your collection if you got rid of everything you play less than once a month?
That was true. I think I would spread out my plays a lot more just to keep more.
Well, so I was going to say, is it a question based on the average, or I have to play it every single month? If
Yeah.
it's based on the average, I'd say maybe 60% of my collection would be gone. Something like that. Like, there's a lot of games in my loved games that get an average of 12 plays a year. There's a lot. But 12
Yeah.
plays of the year is a lot. Like, Blood Rage, one of my favorite games of all time, does not get 12 plays a year. So, maybe it's more than 6%. It might be 70, 80%. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the thing about that would skew that I don't love is like the quicker games, like something like Flux would stay
Yeah.
over something
Over
like
Terraforming
Terraforming
Mars.
Mars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Which
problem.
isn't cool.
It's not about the count of plays, it's about the... I'd say the length of time is a factor. Getting in a 2-hour play is if matters more than 5-minute plays, and also how good it is. There are some games that are good enough to play once a year and still keep them. But to answer your question, 80% of my collection. Cheers, Chris Richardson. Is there a preferred way to purge a collection? I don't know if I fully understand the preferred way. I think it comes down to personal preference. For me, it just comes down to I look at a game and I sit there and say, when I choose to play this game, is it because I like it enough that it deserves to be played amongst all the other games that I love? Or no, I just like it, but I should really play the other games that I love. Because if you like a game, I would keep everything. The problem is when I choose to play game X, I am also choosing to not spend that time on Terraforming Mars, on Cthulhu Death May Die, on Rurik, on Tenacious Adventures. Every time you play a game, you are choosing to not spend that time on the best games you own. And so I look at that and I say, is this a game in which I feel that playing it is doing a disservice to my favorite games? Or sometimes the situations and reasons to play different games, even if they're not as good. Istanbul. I don't love Istanbul as much as I love Tenacious Adventures. But Istanbul plays in a very different situation, and when I play it, it's awesome and it's good. So that's my own personal way of doing it.
I think I want to do it anymore.
You don't want to purge anymore? You're done already?
Yeah.
You've gotten to the point where you started telling me to stop purging games.
I know. I don't think so.
Okay, well, I'll let that be a you problem. Weston Hess. I'm also playing Engage. Who's your favorite character being so far, Meg?
Weston, I am only 2 battles in. I am not far in yet at all. I just started. So no one yet.
Unemployed lawyer. Do I log all of my plays of Can't Stop? My rule is I log every single session that is played with another human being. Digitally or not, I log it. If it's played against as a computer, against an app, I don't log it. That's my own personal rule. But I like logging plays. I like getting those things in. So if I play 7 games of Can't Stop in a row, you better believe I log every single one. I want those numbers to go up, okay? Numbers on the rise.
So if you play on an app or a computer, you don't count it. But if you do play solo with a board game, you do count it.
So if I play... Not on an app or computer. If I play against an AI, I don't count it.
How is that different than solo gaming with an AI?
So what would be an example where you're trying to find? Like, what's an example?
I don't know.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to think of, like, I know in 2-player, like, Tidal Blades and Dune do it, but neither of those are single-player games, so I'm trying to think of, like, a solo.
So if I played a solo game on an app or AI, I would still count it. The thing I'm trying to avoid, and anyone might have their own rules for how they do it. The thing I'm trying to avoid is I'm trying to avoid getting to the point where I treat board games like video games. I want board games to be board games, and if they happen to be in a digital form, I don't mind. But if I pull out my phone and I just play Through the Ages all day long against the AI, at that point I feel like I'm playing an app. I don't feel like I'm playing a board game quite as much. I still think it's better than many of the apps I would play, but I want to treat it like playing a board game, if that makes sense. But again, if somebody said, hey, I log my solo plays against Through the Ages, I'd be like, yeah, you do you, whatever works for you.
You do you.
Joe Junun, Alex, do you know Hebrew? Ani mevin ivrit, ani lo medaber ivrit tov, I guess. I basically said I understand Hebrew, I don't speak it good. But yeah, and I understand it not good either, just for the record. Billy the Real Deal, work isn't tough when it's something you love. It could go either way. You could kill your love for the hobby. We've just been very fortunate that it's very hard to kill a love for the hobby. Okay, let's see.
Bad at board games. I was just looking at Ahoy this past weekend. I was at my FLGS. I was looking at it. But I didn't get it.
I haven't seen any buzz about it.
Yeah, I saw it at the store.
I've seen it, but no one. I haven't heard a single person say, you gotta get Ahoy. It's great.
I believe Foster the Meeple talked about it, but I forget what they said.
You see, if they said you gotta get Ahoy, we'll talk. Until then, we'll wait.
Yeah, I think they said it's like something but lighter.
It's already not a great sign. But lighter is
I think that's what was said.
Yeah.
I think.
Nothing wrong with light games, just I don't play them quite as much.
Yeah.
Unemployed lawyer, or Srebme, log all your plays, that way you have data to realize that you have a problem. Srebme, I completely disagree. I am very aware I have a problem.
Yeah, the problem is not enough time to play board games.
Yeah. If you back Marvin at all in 3 times, you realize you have a problem. You don't need to log your plays. Fabian, I don't usually go by reviews, but your recommendations have been spot on. Thanks for everything. Sorry for the bad English, Fabian. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And sorry that I speak really quickly, which I always feel bad when non-native English speakers don't understand me. So I apologize, and I will attempt to slow down the speed in which I deliver my words.
It's just your Canadian accent.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Srebme, can Jenna Board Game Garden be the first special guest? Yes, absolutely. Devin, you're not invited back next week. Jenna, you in? Jenna, could you be a special guest on our... Yeah, we should be Devin. Jenna, we should. Ryan Tran, how much time do you think you spend in a week selling your called board games? So Ryan, I've gotten to the point where I actually have someone else do it. I basically give them a commission and they take care of it. That's because there's a lot of things I could do, but doing all the YouTube stuff and streaming and having camp co-op and having a full-time job and all those things, it all adds up pretty quickly. And I got to a point where I was no longer able to keep up with some of my games. It also, and I've talked about this in videos, it has made me a bit more conservative at backing. Previously, if I back something for $100 and I know I can get $100 back, great. But now if I'm backing for $100 and I have to give a cut to the person who sells it, so I'm a little bit more, oh, okay, well, do I really have time to deal with it? So it's made me a lot more conservative. Srebme, no, James, have you heard of a card game called Gloom?
Yeah, I've played Gloom, and I enjoy it. I think that it's fun. Again, it is like a lighter card game. But it's one where you're trying to make your family the most unhappy, and it's these different clear cards that you layer over other ones, and like you can have different things happen to them where, I don't know, bad things happen and then they die. And you're trying to have it by the end, all of your dead family members have the worst, hardest life. And it is like, it's cheeky and funny, the art is enjoyable, it's all plastic cards, so it's one that I've brought to the beach that you'll stick in the sand and you can play it like that, so it's like very good for like brewery, something like that. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've had fun playing it. I think I've only maybe played it a 2-player. Yeah.
Michael Walker, are you going to make a list of all the Marvel-related expansions ranked? Board Game Co. So,
ooh,
I actually would consider that now. For a long time, I didn't want to rank Marvel-related stuff because I hadn't played enough of it. But at this point, I've played, I think, pretty much every module and stuff from the base game, and when Devin visits this week, we're going to be diving into a whole bunch of the X-Men content, so I don't mind ranking it once I've actually gone through enough to be a meaningful video. If it's just me saying, hey, I like this hero more than that hero, when 90% of the stuff that each hero is the same, I don't care. But yeah.
Alex, you should make your list and then rank it at my house, because I still have all the boxes.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, let's do that. Tim Chun. Alex has that spot on. Being more mindful of how you say things is so important because then it tightens the interpretation of how an audience perceives your language. Yeah, it is. Again, I've casually said, like, I use the word hate casually, but I can't when I'm doing a video. It's because I really, and I don't mean hate. There are games I hate. There are, but they're so selective. Yeah.
You said Tim was here, and I thought it was the other Tim. Hi, Tim.
Oh, Tim Chun. No, Tim Chun's here. He's actually at Dice Tower West, by the way, too. So we'll get to hang out.
Both Tims.
Both Tims? Which Tim is at Dice Tower West?
Dice Tower Tim.
Oh, Dice Tower Tim. You meant that Tim. Oh, the main Dice Tower Tim.
Yeah. I got confused.
Okay. Peach is the way, 74, and it's never too late. James Sullivan, I did not realize you were 74. James, cool. Tim Chun, that's a good point, Meg. Easier to nip in the bud before committing. That's as far as telling a publisher no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Unemployed.
I've only had to say that twice to be like, listen, I shouldn't cover this.
Yeah. Oh, I have probably turned down coverage after playing a game. Not that often, but if I have to make a ballpark guess, I'd say maybe 8 to 10 times. Yeah. Like, it's happened where I've offered to not cover a game. I think only one time the publisher said, no, I'd rather you still cover it. And I respect that. Cool to them. Fun fact, and not a great follow-up, that publisher has since closed their doors. So, sorry about that. But, what's it called? I just don't like the fact that I'm like, good on them for making a good decision, and also they closed down their business. But it was unrelated to that, I'm sure. Okay. Oh, I just lost chat. No, I lost it. I know Devin's in chat. I know that. That's why I don't want to get up to that part.
Devin's here? No, gosh, we gotta catch up.
John Tripp, unemployed lawyer. Maybe they're all here to audition for Devin's spot. George said that a bunch of content creators are showing up when Devin's not here, and they're all auditioning. Richard Durer, harsh on Devin. He doesn't make things worse. He's just a hell of a lot more chaotic. Yep. Connor Gordon, what shelving do you use, Alex? I use the Better Home and Gardens shelving.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the same idea as Calyx, but it's from Walmart, and I have Walmart next to me. I don't have IKEA, so it's Better Homes and Gardens. Same idea as Calyx, and they have shipping online too. And it's almost the exact same as Calyx.
I think you skipped by, but Cash Johnson shouted out my Marvel United promos during Zombies.
Nice. Thanks for taking time to answer everyone's questions. I enjoy your content. Meg, I really found your Marvel United promos hilarious. There were a few people who commented on them. I was surprised and disappointed there weren't more. I thought they were so bizarrely out of left field that they should be commented on more.
I was so mad they were out of focus.
One of them was, so maybe two.
Yeah, there was a few out of focus.
Richard L., why haven't you liked this video yet? You're right. I fixed that. I have now liked my own video, which is something I never ever do. Richard L., when are you reviewing Wayfarers of South Tigris? I don't know, but I do want to play it. I do want to play it a lot. Zod10, could you recommend a campaign game? I don't like dungeons, crawling, and fantasies.
Everything I was going to say was fantasy.
Pandemic Legacy?
Pandemic Legacy.
If you don't like a dungeon crawler and you want a campaign game, Pandemic Legacy... Oh, Meg! There's one you could recommend. A campaign game.
Bathysphere?
That doesn't have dungeon crawling or fantasy. Plays a lot. Heck, you could try it online for free to see if it's for you.
Oh, My City. I love My City. Everyone stop what you're doing and get yourself either a copy of My City or BGA. Do you need premium to play it? I assume.
I think you need premium.
BGA premium yourselves. Find someone to play My City with. Everyone report here next month. We will talk about My City again. It's going to be the My City live Q&A episode next a month from now. Write it down, Alex.
Totally. Do that. Zod10, can you recommend a campaign game? No, that we just that. Will Tarver, do you have any camera setup recommendations for people considering content creation? We'll start with your phone and go from there. Everything else is going to cost you a minimum of $1,000 to properly buy setup and equipment and stuff. And so I highly recommend starting with your phone and just getting used to whether content is or isn't for you. I know people who have sadly invested thousands and thousands of dollars into like gear and equipment and setup and studios, and they're like, hey, I don't like content creation. Okay, well now you have a lot of expensive equipment. So I recommend...
And I would say too, for live streaming, if you see like what I do on Twitch on Final Girl Fridays, I'm using 2 webcams. So I'm just using a Logitech webcam that's what it was. Do you remember how much they were, Alex?
$120, I think. Maybe.
Something around there. Yeah. So if you already have one webcam that you can look at like we're talking now and just do that as an overhead, you can do live content like playthrough stuff pretty easily.
Devin's in the sidebar telling me to talk faster, so we'll do that. Okay. We'll get to that soon.
We gotta catch up to Devin. There's so much.
Okay, I'm gonna catch up. We're gonna go really fast. Burging Garden, just saw your comment about being the first special guest to me. Honestly, would love to. Jenna, we are 100% officially reaching out to you as soon as we have. Honestly, we don't need to have an opening. We could just have you on. So we'll figure that out.
That's true.
Aaron Taylor, Dice Jones grade 3. Okay, great. Richard Dura, not a far trip for you to either the Burging Garden. Not a far trip where? It's a phone call for these things. Blue the Real Deal. Have you tried the campaign for Zombicide Undead Alive yet? Nope. I'm still working my way through the base box. I'll be doing that soon. I do want to play a lot of Zombicide Undead Alive. In fact, I filmed a video about a 12 by 12 challenge I'm doing, and towards the end of the video, I'm like, I should do Zombicide Undead Alive because it's so good. Kyle Reed, what do you think of target versions of games like Marvel Zombies, Heroes Resistance, Horizon Spirit Island, the other games you'd like to see a target version of? I don't know offhand. I like Marvel Zombies. Yeah. I thought Horizon Spirit Island was just Spirit Island but worse.
So, I haven't looked into them at all.
Okay.
Get your Pokemon cards at Target, kids.
Alex, Meg, what is the one game that's the most replayable from your own experience? Meg, I'll let you answer that.
My City? Guys, I have a My City addiction right now. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spirit Legacy, that makes sense. I wasn't mean that you don't do it anymore. I think it's something a lot of places don't do as well as your channel. I appreciate it, Spetskeski. The reason I started the format of what I like, don't like, and consider as not liking, it was the very first time I was doing a review that I was pretty hyped about the game, and I was like, I gotta be more critical here. And so I came up with, like, what can I see being a problem for others? Because I didn't have a lot of complaints myself. And then it became a regular part of the format, and sometimes it gets procedural, because I try to fit things in that I don't necessarily see. But overall, I enjoy the format. Okay, let's go through some questions here. Pizza's the way.
But I would say, Alex, for replayability, My City isn't great.
Explain that to me.
Don't you place stickers and stuff in the physical version?
Okay, yes. So 2 things about my city. One is it'll cost you around $24 and it'll give you around 24 plays. 2 is if you're playing at 2 players, it will give you 48 plays.
Yeah.
Okay. And 3 is if you're playing it on BGA, it's, well, $24 for a year of BGA Premium, and you can play it as many times as you want. So that's a
Grab
fair
yourself
point.
Terraforming Mars.
Yep. Omega Rocker, I always have the tendency either going all in or nothing on campaigns. I went all in on Escape from Arkham, and now I'm asking myself why I can't be happy with the core set. If we're asking ourselves why we can't be happy, I got plenty of the conversations to have there. Kevin! Hi, Devin. I see you in the chat, and how Alex is ignoring you. No, Devin! No, Kevin. I mean, not Devin. Kevin and Devin. Both of you. I'm not ignoring Devin. I mean, I will get to him. I'll get to him.
Oh, hi, Kevin. And Devin.
Yeah. Okay. Jack Vanguard. Hi, Alex. The Monarch game table arrived. The Kickstarter ends on Friday and Target hit all stretch goals. Jack, the Monarch game table did not arrive, unfortunately. Yeah, not yet. Now I'm wondering if Jack is the person who I'm communicating with them from them, but I don't think so. Because I'm supposed to be getting the Monarch game table, and I have not, unfortunately, so I can't cover it yet. Let me see what it is. Game table. I need to find it. They basically the game table for the Monarch game table, they got delayed, and it was coming, well, later than it was supposed to. Now I'm trying to search my email while trying not to be too distracted.
So Devin's first message was, I want to ask why you two don't like me enough to let me be on the live stream. Oh, Devin, I was willing to move it to 10. Alex wasn't.
I had made an appointment at 10. It's not my fault. Not my fault at all.
I was willing to move it for Devin.
I can't find the email.
George Russell wants to know, are you ready to send me Cleopatra yet?
I have to look at my email later. So I'm not ready to send Cleopatra until I actually play it, so no.
I wasn't sure if that was a joke, like you're never sending it, like that's one that they just want.
No, I mean, that was based on the video you and I did where we would purge the game, where the games are unplayed. Remember I had a big Cleopatra game from, I showed you pieces?
Got you.
Devin, it's not that we don't like you, it's that I can handle one of you better than 2 of you. And I like you less than Meg, so I guess it is I don't like you. Zephyr Workshop, what's optimum length per session for a campaign game in your opinions? That's a good one.
It depends on the game. Like, again, something like My City, we play in, 15, 20 minutes? And something like Frosthaven can be, an hour and a half. Yep. So, if it's, a dungeon crawler adventure type thing, I would say around an hour for 2 players. That's my happy spot.
For me, sub 90 minutes is ideal. I find once you start crossing to the 2-hour mark, I don't mind that for a regular game, but for a bunch of games in a row, it can really make the difference between 2 sessions or 3 sessions. Like a 2-hour game, I'm not playing 2 sessions in a row. 90-minute game, I might play 2 sessions in a row. So even just that difference there. Sreb me. Oh wait, Tim Shun. My heart breaks. Joking, y'all. A is definitely not for everyone, but totally respect your decisions. I'll take no for an answer for dwellings, though. I will not take no for an answer. Yeah, both AE and dwellings, I did not fall into the camp of loving them. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them both. I've given them both in multiple plays, but to me, they're more the level of Scythe, which is a compliment. Scythe is a loved game. Yeah. But for me, yeah.
That's a perfect comparison. Yeah. Just not our jam. We just play different kinds of games.
So me, Devin, you're being replaced by Jenna for obvious reasons. Multiple obvious reasons. So many obvious reasons. Weston Hess.
No.
Devin talks stable up. I mean, I'd replace me with Jenna. She's cooler.
To be fair, I'm not saying no to not Jenna. I'm saying we can all be friends. Jenna's allowed. We don't have to kick anyone out for it. We want Jenna, though. If we have to kick out Devin, we will.
Yeah, of course, obviously.
Yeah.
Heavy board gamer. Is there any of your board games that you wish were more popular, mainly so the designer makes more games? Mine is Agra.
Okay. I have feelings.
I didn't realize you were gonna. I just left it to you. I didn't realize you were passionate about this.
I remember when the Small World expansions were coming out. And it was so exciting, and I loved getting new ones so much, and then it stopped. And so this is kind of like a reverse answer where it was popular and then went down in popularity. But oh man, I still want more Small World expansions. That's one that I went expansion crazy, and I want more. I want more.
Yeah. For Small World, you want more?
Yeah.
Wow. You really Small World has a decent amount of content.
And I remember going to my local game store and buying the little packs of it back when it was in the thin little packs, and Lil Meg was making less money then, and that's what she was buying, and I don't know, I miss it. I want it back.
Wow. So I don't know if I have an answer offhand. Right now, a game that I wish were more popular to a degree is DEI, Divide and Impair. That's one from Loose Magnet Studios. I am loving it, and my whole group is loving it so far. But also, they had a Kickstarter with like 4 expansions, so I already have 4 expansions, so I don't know if I need that. A game that I wish were more popular so that I got more content. The Loop has a bunch of expansions. Aquatic has an expansion already. I don't know. I think I'm feeling pretty happy, I think, for the most part. I mean, I always want more for the games I love, but I'm feeling okay at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. We're board collect. Where's Devin Talk Tabletop? On the way to me to hang out. And right now Devin has the FOMO, but soon enough Meg's gonna have the FOMO when we have the Chaos stream. But then next week, Meg, you and I can have a Chaos stream, and Devin can have the FOMO again.
We're gonna do 4 chaos streams in a row.
The Unemployed Lawyer. Ooh, this is a fun one. BGA plays against the randos from around the world get counted. Man, I'm going to have so many played games this year. George, I count them. You don't have to. I would count.
I think it counts if you played with a human.
Also, fun fact, during your session, please don't refer to the person you're playing with as, hey, rando from around the world. Not the best. Okay, let's see.
Imagine if their name was Rando.
Cinema Maverick. Ethical question. The general wisdom for Cthulhu May Die is you need to buy another Elder Goddess season for replayability, but the base game is $100. Shouldn't that be a complete experience? So, I'll answer you with a few ways. The first of all is every person who plays Warhammer and Magic the Gathering and any of those games right now is laughing in chat. Because some games are just not a complete experience without whatever. And so they are used to that kind of pain and punishment. I think the question, I would say I have zero problem with a game having a price point related to how good it has to be. Meaning if you said, hey, you have to spend $200 to Cthulhu May Die to make this a playable experience, I have zero problem with that. That's just a decision. Make the experience as you want. Make the decision as you want. I think the question I find interesting is, should you release a game in any way that you kind of need expansions to make it replayable to begin with? Because that's already like, okay, great, it's $100, but like now I bought it and I need more to make it replayable. And I think there's a few ways to answer that further, because I happen to think that the base game of that Cthulhu May Die is fully worth $100 and will give you plenty of plays. You're going to have 12 unique, meaning because of 6 scenarios and 2 Elder Gods, you already have 12 missions effectively to play through before you even have to worry about mixing it up with the investigators and just even the base game I've played, the base mission I've played so many times. So I happen to think you do get plenty of replayability. It's just that for an additional, $40, you'll double the replayability. So I think that there are some games that have had that issue. I believe Arkham Horror, the original Arkham Horror core set for the card game, I think there were lots of complaints around it back then when they first released it, and they made Marvel Champions more of a playable set from the get-go. But I think everything should actually have replayability. For me, price points is less the factor. That's just a decision we have to make as adults. And I do think Cthulhu May Die is replayable even in the base game.
And I think, ethically, as long as they say what's in the game, sell whatever you want.
Yeah.
Ethically.
Yeah, I agree. Deus Ex, hey Board Game Co., what are your thoughts on how portable a game is and being a factor whether you get it? Tenacious Adventures, for example, is a big box game with a lot of additional boxes. Fun fact, I'll have a video in the next 2 weeks where I compress the Tenacious Adventures into a handful of boxes. I recommend watching that because it's much fewer boxes. Much fewer boxes. It's bizarre how many fewer boxes there are. Past that, I would say that I usually don't do a lot of traveling with my games. Usually. So whether a game is the size of Codenames Duet or whether it's the size of the 4 Oathsworn boxes, it for 90% of my playtime won't be a factor. The times it could be a factor is when I'm heading to a friend's house to play a game, so I'm just driving down the block, and I will carry Blood Rage and Terraforming Mars with me, but I don't want to carry 4 boxes of Oathsworn. And then occasional times when I'm actually traveling to a convention or driving to a convention or things like that. So it's rarely, I would say I appreciate portability, but it's rarely going to be a factor on whether I get it or not. Shelf space more so.
Yeah, I think shelf space, and for me, portability doesn't matter at all because I don't bring games anywhere unless they're small. But I don't really do that often, and if I do, it's an environment where you're not going to be playing something heavier or longer. But table space is a big factor that, especially until I got my Wormwood, that was a big thing of I can't fit this on the table. There are some Bantam West is huge. It is a huge game, or even Arkham Horror. So to me, more table space matters more than portability.
Meg, what is your secret talent?
What is my secret talent?
It's to both of us, not just you.
I'm not talented, you guys. I don't have talents like that. I can do this. I can do this. and
Okay.
this, and this, and this. I can separate all my fingers. And I can do the nose thing.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Oh, and I can do this eyebrow, this eyebrow, this eyebrow, this eyebrow. But that's all.
I'm not so cool. I could just forget things really quickly.
You can juggle knives.
When have I ever juggled knives?
That's true. That's fair. They were just balloons.
Okay. That was a funny joke. Did you get it? What's my talent?
And then what did you say?
I said my talent is to forget things really quickly. And you said you can juggle knives, and I said when have I ever juggled knives?
Oh, because you forgot it really quickly.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Hilarious.
You were supposed to say, "What are you talking about?" I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" And then we're just gonna go back and forth, and I'd be like, "I have no idea." That was supposed to be the
Can
joke.
you do that?
I haven't tried, but let's see. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
Some people
3.
can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
I don't know why.
You can do the coin thing, can't you? I've seen you
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, I can do the coin
Yeah.
thing too.
Like Jack Sparrow.
Connor, Alex, favorite storage solutions. What shelving do you use? Can you post links in the description? Plastic bags and Better Home and Garden shelving. So no links for you because I just answered those. Board
Mine
Game
are
Garden.
from IKEA, and they're gone now, so you can't get them.
Board Game Garden. Devin, I'm definitely not cooler than you. Jenna, I'm sorry. You kind of are.
Yeah.
Cash Johnson. I actually got Cthulhu May Die because of you, and then back season 2. I would say you're welcome, and hopefully you enjoy it because it's an incredible game. As if you're
Rupert Later is a positive IMO since later game. Oh, sorry. I'm just literally reading out loud.
No, read on. Take.
I know, but I didn't read the beginning. I read like halfway through. Zephyr Workshop said, "Ahoy is very cool. Our first game took like 2 hours though. Brute but lighter is a positive in my opinion. Since later games have a high learning curve, Ahoy felt pretty midweight. I think that the thing, now that I'm remembering, and this may or may not even be true, but I think what Foster the Meeple said was that it's better at lower player counts than how Root at lower player counts.
Interesting.
I think that may be what they said. Or I'm making that up.
Okay, scrolling through 7 hours. I just missed chat for a second. I just missed it. Need to scroll back up. Okay, 7 hours left for Marvel Multiverse. If you could only pick 4 games that you'd have to play to 100% completion before touching any other games from your shelves. Oh, that's a complicated question, because if you could only pick 4 games campaign games that you'd have to play to 100% completion before touching any other games yourselves, what would those be? So there's 2 ways to approach this question. The first is that you can only play 4 campaign games, and the second is that I want to pick really short campaign games because I want to play my other games.
Yeah, and the 100% completion, I'm assuming means from start to finish and not 100%.
Yeah, I assume so. But yeah, so if the question is that I can't play any other game, I would pick shorter games. I like campaign games, but I can't restrict the rest of my collection. So I would pick 4 very short campaign games. If the question is...
I would make you pick something like Madara, so that way we have to play it, because then you're going to want to play it to get to the other games.
So if we are picking 4 campaign games before we touch any other campaign games, Meg, what would they be?
Okay, are we starting fresh, like not finishing ones that we currently have?
Right now, we cannot play any campaign games until we finish these 4 campaign games. What are they?
Well, but I'm saying, like, we're not counting Gloomhaven, Frosthaven.
We can count Frosthaven. We're far enough into Gloomhaven we can't count it.
I would put Madara.
Okay. I'm going to add Daenerys Adventures.
Daenerys Adventures, Frosthaven.
What's our 4th? Primal.
I mean, that's the thing. Sure, there's Roleplay Adventures, there's Wild Ascent.
We could do Wild Ascent. It's short enough, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Andrew Gecko, Initial Blood Rage. Fun fact, I have a whole video on the subject with multiple opinions. You have to watch the video to find out. Thank you guys for recent Isofarian Guard gameplay. I've ordered a copy with Matt. Enjoy it. Meg, how'd you like Isofarian Guard?
I enjoyed it quite a lot. That's one that will be on our list.
R4?
Yeah, I would.
I would not want to put it on the list. Not yet. I like Isofarian Guard a lot, but my biggest concern is that I am uncertain about the long-term replayability. I think it's the kind of game where I'd want to play it for like 50 hours, but not for 300 hours. And it's 300 hours.
But you're playing the different story arcs each time, so you're playing totally new characters.
I know, but I think I think the game is great, and I plan to dive into it 100%. I wouldn't want to commit to 100% completion. Not if I go
sure. Maybe not the list of that. It's just on the campaign list.
Oh, of course, it's on our campaign list. It's a great game.
Yeah, the playmat is beautiful.
Ari A, I don't have a question. I just want to say hi. I'm the Ari who has a kid in your youngest class. Oh, cool. Hey, Ari, how's it going? I just realized who you are.
Wow.
The Sludge Man. What's an outdated aspect of board games that only veterans will know about how the hobby used to be? Oh, I have an answer.
What
Okay.
is it? What is it?
What's an outdated aspect of board games that only veterans will know about how the hobby used to be? And there's room for debate on this answer, but I have an answer.
Okay, say your answer.
My answer is a board game where you get a box and you get an insert, and the insert is just vague pieces of cardboard with no rhyme or reason about how anything was ever supposed to fit together. It still happens a bit, but it's far, far less frequent. It used to be the default norm where when you got an insert, that insert was the exact same insert and solution used for 70 other games because it wasn't an insert. It was just like, let's compress things so the box can appear bigger. Like Fantasy Flight games, remember that little divot down the middle that 70,000 of the games had?
Yeah, they still do that though. I think they still do that.
Which one? What game did they do? It's far, far less frequent.
Fantasy Flight?
Yeah.
Anything Mansions of Madness.
Mansions of Madness, they still have that as their solution? Like those are still relatively old-ish. It's a good answer.
I'm trying to think, like, I've gotten games, I think Unfathomable was like that.
Oh, was it? Okay, fine. Fantasy Flight's just
I think so.
Up your game, Fantasy Flight, seriously.
An outdated aspect. The only thing I can think is, I don't want to say what I want to call it. The sorry pieces. Games used to come with those. The instead of a wooden meeple or something. Yeah.
What games used to come with those? Am I not veteran enough for this hobby?
I think that Andor has those.
Oh, does it? Interesting.
Yeah.
Haven't heard that one.
And yeah, I would have to dig through, but I think older. I mean, I know that games have those that I have played.
Yeah. Okay, Saipon. Hey, Alex, Meg, who are your top 3 board game reviewers? I'm looking for recommendations to follow. I can give answers.
Oh, sure. I can too.
Off the bat, I'll still say Dice Tower reviews. I think that they are still the best in the industry, period. I think part of that is because of the fact that they always have the opportunity and the leeway to have multiple voices covering every single game. I find the diversity of opinions and the consistency and frequency of content has just made them best in class in terms of review content. If I want, if I watch most other people, I'm getting a very narrow opinion. If I watch Dice Tower, I'm usually getting a diverse range of opinions around the game with an interesting conversation around it. So Dice Tower is going to be my number 1. To you, Meg.
I would say Man vs. Meeple. I've been watching them do their playthroughs a lot recently during the day. That I enjoy. I guess like they say reviewers. I'm answering this as content creators because I don't really watch like reviews specifically that much. I watch yours.
Reviews. Thanks.
Yeah. Yours, and generally agree with what you at least have to say because you give a very clear rundown of everything. But for content in general, I've been really enjoying Man vs. Meeple. I have been watching a lot of Jenna's videos that hers are very calming and nice that she goes through lists. She goes through lists of games and I don't know how she keeps like all of them in her brain. It seems like there's no cuts and maybe there are, but she can rattle off like a list of 10 and like me with my memory, I can talk about a game, but for me to remember the list, I would have to check my list all the time. You do it as well. It's something that you can do that I can't, for whatever reason, keep all of like the knowledge in my brain. I love Foster the Meeple. I absolutely love them. Did you want to say more?
Oh, so yeah. So now the next 2 I'm going to give are with the exclusion or exception of understand that there might be 14 people I forgot. So please don't take it personally if in any way I forgot you here. And I also might love your content, but don't think of you as someone I go to for reviews. So for example, you mentioned Jenna. I love Jenna's content. It's tremendous. Mm-hmm. I haven't watched as many as her reviews. I just happen to have not.
I don't watch reviews.
I also am very selective. So there's a lot of content creators who I think are phenomenal, and I have different reasons why I resonate with the different things they do. Someone's knocking. Oh, darn it. Give me a second. I'll have to go say hi. But you talk about the list, and I'll deal with the rest in a second.
Okay. I'm looking through. I've also been. We can hear him talking. I've been watching Paula Deming play through games online a lot. That I've watched her play Final Girl. She was playing Paperback Adventures yesterday. That she's someone that I really enjoy watching play games.
Okay, I'm coming back.
We could hear you running because you're breathing so hard.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. So the other 2 people who I'm going to say that I do very much look at their review content are Chris George from Room and Board. I like watching his reviews a lot. They're fairly critical, well-informed. And then Thinker Themer as well. I don't watch a ton of the review content, But when I see them covering a game I'm interested in, I tend to look at it. And again, I find the diversity of both of the ways that they separately approach their content does make for informed opinions or help guide decisions.
And they explain games very, very well as well. I like it when it's explained in terms that I can understand just from hearing a video and not watching the thing explained to me, and they do a very good job. Nelson, my friend Nelson, who's also a board vendor, he has Nelson All Over, and he does great LCG content.
We are straight up like a half an hour behind the thingy. Oh my gosh.
I know. It's 2:18 too. So
yeah, we're gonna wrap up. I'm gonna wrap up soon because of just timing.
Yeah.
Cinema Maverick, are you going to do Dice Tower? Are you going on the Dice Tower to another top 100? My guess is not. I did the first year, but then they had what's his name did it the second year. Chris did it the second year for them, so I'm probably not. Sledgeman, I like Alex manually streaming at double speed now. Trying the best I can. Chad Stilson, anyone else put Alex in 0.75 player speed? LL, he sounds so chill. I'm trying. Aaron Taylor, next Meg Game Show will be My City questions. Devin study up. I listen to Alex. Okay, trying to catch up here. Devin talks tabletop. $4.99. Brothers Murph do good breakdowns of games. I don't know.
True.
I don't know if I've watched the reviews though. I don't think I go to them. I don't think this showcasing playthroughs, top 10 list reviews. I think of Brothers Murph more as a showcase when they talk about a game. I don't know if I think of their, maybe they do reviews and I just don't know about it, but I think of the stuff as showcasing.
Yeah. I'm not going by reviews. I'm just going by content. I'm breaking the rules.
Srebme. Alex doing the Dice Tower Top 100 is how I found his channel. Little did I know that it would be life-changing because it brought me to the Camp Co-op community. Aww. Do you guys want to do a Discord Blood on the Clock Tower, especially for Alex? I would be averse to Blood on the Clock Tower, but I'm not saying I can't be convinced. I'm just saying I would be averse. Grunge Life, thanks for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Okay, let's see if we can rattle through some questions that are interesting over here.
I know, I'm letting you do it because me trying to go through this quickly is like melting my brain.
I love how, Devin, you are shown as a moderator on the channel, and as a mod, you're like, your mom's a showcase, okay? By the way, my mother does watch these live streams, just so you know.
No, she doesn't.
Of course she doesn't. Tim Chun, Meg, what do you think of a bougie small world version, like what Awakened Realms did for Castle Burgundy?
I would love that. There is a chest. I think it's all upgrade components, but not like 3D things. I would absolutely love that. I would be all about that. But they did do like, I think it's like $1,000 wooden chest that has like gold coins and all of that. And I tried to find it, and I couldn't find a copy of it once I knew it existed, which is very sad.
Jay Sears, will you consider reviewing more heavier, complex games in the future? So Jay, and this is something I go through in the top 100. Like, if you go through my top 100, there's a bunch of heavier games in there. The problem is reviewing them, I find, is more of a burden because of the fact that I want to review a heavy Euro just requires more time and investment, and in order to feel comfortable with it, and so it happens, but it happens less frequently. Okay.
My chat went to like current, so I'm just letting you, if you read things out loud, I'm gonna believe you that it was.
Alright, I'm catching up slowly. Clane, how do you deal with people who have analysis paralysis? My brother is insanely slow in every game we play. Some games no longer table because it's too painful for everyone. So I actually have a full video where I talk about this, and I have to deal with this with a person in my game group. And the way I dealt with it is I talked to him politely about the problem, saying, hey, just a heads up, you do take longer than other players, and it's something that he didn't necessarily agree with, and then I started using a turns timer, and I showed him, I was like, you are literally double the other players at the table, like double. And I said, the problem is, like, we love having you at game night, we do, but the problem is, when you come to play a game, you basically make the game twice as long, making it so that everyone is paying into that time you're taking. I was like, the problem is, like, you care too much about winning, you care too much about the optimal move, which I respect, and the practical reality is, one of two things has to happen. Either you have to figure out a way to get faster at taking your turns, because you are consistently the person who's slowing everything down, or alternatively, you will still be invited to game nights, but you will not be invited when we're playing certain games, and you will be invited less often. But like, and I was more polite than, I mean, I was still pretty polite, but I was a little bit more careful in my delivery. The messaging I was going with is, I like you and I want you to be able to come, but if you don't solve this problem, you're going to come less often. And as a result, he got better at solving that problem because he didn't want to be left out of the games. And it's a way of including people while also not, you don't want to be like hardcore, hey, you can't come, but also it's not cool when somebody takes twice as long and hurts everyone else's experience.
I think literally that, guys, if everyone literally just heard what Alex said, I think that communicating like that is something that people have a hard time with. Like, even with other things that you need to tell a friend, like, if there's certain things that just aren't working where it's like, you can't be doing this thing or that thing or whatever. And it's very, very hard to just be direct. And I think that it is important. And, like, that's something that I've tried to learn from you, that, guys, you should learn this from Alex. It's okay to say to someone, like, hey, listen, I don't think you mean to be doing this thing, but this is how it's coming across, and this is how we're going to fix the problem. I think as a life advice, like, I think you communicate well, and that's something that I've picked up that I really appreciate, because I, for a long time, was someone that would just be quiet and not say anything, and just be like, oh, well...
Oh, Devin's...
You know?
First of all, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Also, I'm going to be a little out of character here, but I'm going to do it because it's too funny not to. Devin Talks Tabletop. Fantasy Flight. I called it the Trough. I call your mama Trough. He started this. It is on record. I know. He started this. He started this. Listen, I was taught by my mother, I was taught, you don't start the fight, but you sure as hell finish it. Okay?
Oh my god. I love how I'm like, everyone learned from Alex. Here's a very important life lesson where we should all be more like Alex. And then Alex is like...
I'm sorry. Wow.
That was an amazing...
Oh. The timing being high in the chat. Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone. I do apologize. That is out of character. Usually I reserve that kind of thing to not on stream, but it was too good. It was too good.
Alex, me being like, this is how you should be more like Alex, and then you saying that is almost like Alex saying, don't back all of Marvel United, and then backing all of Marvel United.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Still trying to go through. Will you do a play TTS with subscribers? Potentially. Well, we actually on Camp Co-op, over on Camp Co-op last night, we streamed Gloomhaven, and when Gloomhaven was done, we played a 10-player game of Welcome 2 with the people on the stream. So definitely open that kind of thing.
You said, Alex snickering at his own jokes is the best.
It was too good an opportunity.
It is funny when you laugh at your joke where you're like, oh, this is funny, right?
It's the setup of that. The setup. He set himself up for that. It was beautiful. Alright, let's see. Brothers Murph, I don't do a lot of reviews, but I want to do more for sure. That's from Jenna. Top reviewer for me, ACG. Gives really exceptional breakdowns. Who's ACG? Who's ACG, Devin? Now I'm curious. What am I missing? John Tripp, everything's okay. What is your opinion of Monterey? Devin Talks Tabletop. Brothers Murph do good breakdowns of games. Yes, they do. Introvert Fuel. Only people I watch regularly besides Borg & Co. and the Dice Towers multi-person reviews and Tim Chun. Introvert Fuel, Dice Towers reviews are all multi-person nowadays. So I think they're exclusively multi-person. And Tim Chun is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. My favorite video from his, and sorry Tim if you're still watching, it's not this past year's one. I think the last cinematic showcase you did is by far your most insanely incredible video that your stuff's always fantastic, but that it was incredible. I've rewatched that top 10 list because of how cool it is. Okay. Devin, I laughed out loud. I appreciate Devin. You are a prince. James, oh man, Alex, your kids are going to see this. So James, once in a while, here's the deal, okay? This is the trick I have.
His kids aren't going to see this. There's no way they're going to go back and watch a live stream all the way through an hour and a half of us being crazy.
My trick is that I try to be a good person in most of my content, and once in a while I'm allowed to slip up, because my plan is that if I have 2 bajillion videos, the chance of my kids seeing where I'm not a good person is slim. Okay?
Yeah.
I swear.
Until it gets clipped and posted on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Until then. Board Game Garden, literally right after Meg's wonderful speech. The timing of that, it was
hilarious.
I did not plan on that, but it is good timing.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt this. I have a zinger.
Okay. So Devin Talks Tabletop, so that's typical of my relationship with Alex. I have to pay in more than I get out of it. Absolutely true. Intimate to Full, his cinematic intro for Andromeda was insane. I don't actually think I watched Tim's Andromeda one. I have to watch it, but I know so many of his videos are absolutely fantastic. George.
He played it with Jenna and Foster the Meatball.
Did he?
Yeah. I was watching some of it today.
I'm so jealous now. I like Andromeda's Edge. Tim, I like Andromeda's Edge. I'll back it. I want to hang out. George, what is your opinion of Amon Ray? I have not played Amon Ray, so I can't answer that. James, what's this call? In order to complete service, when you this is the person I thought was calling, which is I'm just getting my meter check today, which is yay. Interesting. Different Talks Tabletop. Getting some interesting images of you throwing money at Alex in my head. Yes, that's fair. Devin talks tabletop. All right, I'm heading to the plane for boarding. Love you all. Devin, I will see you later tonight. I'm very excited.
Hey,
Then
Devin.
we're wrapping up here. Why do bigger publishers have absolutely horrid playbooks? My mind can't comprehend why big publishers don't see how bad rulebooks are a big barrier to getting more people into their games. That is a longer answer, but you are not wrong. You are absolutely correct. Board Game Garden, playthrough went up yesterday. I have to go watch it. And I think we're going to go ahead and call at this point. We've caught up, but only because I skipped a million questions. That is it for right now. We are an hour and a half into the live stream. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. I appreciate all of you. We'll be back next... Actually, are we back next week? Possibly. We're probably back next week. We'll figure it out. We are probably back next week. And then at some point, we'll be back with Jenna, and Devin may or may not be around, because, I mean, he's Devin. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I appreciate all of you, and we'll see you shortly.
Have a great week, guys.